Hello, welcome back to Vlogmas in July. Oh, my bagel's done. Hello, welcome back to Vlogmas in July, day 16. Oh my god, I can't believe it's day 16. Yes, I'm gonna say that probably every day from here on out. Okay, today's a Tuesday. It's regular stay-at-home mom day. I put August in literally the cutest little outfit. I bought him these pizza overalls from an Instagram ad, and I'm like they're overalls with pizzas all over them. They're so cute. Pretty normal stay-at-home mom day. We're gonna do play gym. We're gonna go to the grocery store. Who knows what we'll do this afternoon? I feel like I have something to do this afternoon that I can't quite think of. I don't know. Pretty normal day here in the household of mine, the Rambles household, if you will. Lucy's working on his breakfast. I'm about to be working on mine. Oh, this is kind of nice. Wandering Bear, the cold brew company that I like, they sent me a box of their new flavor, toasted coconut. Let me make sure I got that right. And the coconut flavor with the chocolate flavor of the protein drink I mix it with, it literally tastes like an Almond Joy. It is so fucking, I love Almond Joys. Mario doesn't like coconut. He probably wouldn't like this. He hasn't tried this one yet, but oh my god, it's so good. Okay, let's go sit. Yes, here we are. I'm sitting. And before I dig in, I was thinking that today's vlog is going to be my tattoo tour. So when August goes down for his nap, we can talk about all of the tattoos I have in my body, of which there are, let me think about this, 10? I feel like I'm miscalculating, but I think there's 10. Anyway, I will know for certain by the end of this video, and so will you. This has been requested a couple of times. Obviously, I have a few visible tattoos that you can see here and there. Some are hidden, some are on my back, some are on my feet, like the ones that you don't see a lot. So we'll go through them all together, what they mean, when I got them, etc. And yeah, I know this video isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I love tattoos. I know a lot of you guys do too. I'm always interested in what makes somebody want to get a tattoo and what their tattoo philosophy is. I'm like literally obsessed with tattoos. Like, I just think they're so cool, and I love the show Ink Master. Like, I literally watch TV shows, reality TV shows about tattoo artists, and I follow them on Instagram, and I just, yeah. I'm happy to share all my tattoo stories later today, and if you're interested in that, stick around and I'll talk to you guys, for me later, for you guys in like 1 second. This is where I'm filming today. All right, August is down for a nap. I finished the work for other clients that I had to do today, which was just a little bit, and I'm gonna turn the volume down on this so it doesn't get in the way. And it's time to chat tats here on the floor because I don't feel like setting a tripod up, and there's a big stack of boxes here. Plus I have a backup battery, you guys. This is what we're doing. Okay, I have to like get my brain wrapped around the fact that I'm filming now. Okay. I thought it would be best to just go in the order in which I got the tattoos. And the ones that I can visibly show you quickly, I will. Some are not so visible, and I'll flash some pictures. Okay, let's go roughly in the order I got them. The first tattoo I ever got is on my right foot. It's a loon. I don't know if I moisturized my foot well today. Pretty good, huh? I love her. This is a loon. I'll tell you why and everything in a second. So I got this tattoo in 2015, the year I graduated college. My parents are not tattoo people. Neither of them have tattoos. They didn't really want me to get a tattoo while I was still in college, even though legally you can get one when you're 18, and I wanted one since I was in high school. They were pretty adamant about me waiting, and I didn't really have a hard time waiting. It wasn't a big deal. My whole thing is, a tattoo is something that's gonna be on your body for the rest of your life. If you're in a rush, that's a problem. Kind of the same philosophy I have about marriage. It's like, this is the person you're gonna be with for the rest of your life. If there's a rush, something is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lifelong commitment. So like, timing wise, it shouldn't be that dire ever. So I waited until I graduated college. Actually, I got this a little bit before I graduated college with my parents' blessing. I just really wanted it. It had been a tattoo. I knew it was gonna be my first tattoo for a long time. I never gave up the concept of it. And my parents, like a couple months before I graduated, came down to visit me, and they were just like, fine, whatever, get your tattoo. Because I was talking about it a lot. Anyway, so I went and got my tattoo at a shop. I think it's changed locations, not that it doesn't exist anymore. I'm not sure actually. Hold on, let me look up if this shop still exists. Yeah, this location has closed. There used to be a shop in New Orleans called Sailor's Cross Tattoo, and that's where I got that. Doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, I got that a couple months before I graduated, so early 2015, like I think March-ish of 2015. And the loon signifies a couple of things. One, it signifies the time I spent in New Hampshire. I lived in New Hampshire from 1994 to 2011, so my entire childhood. And even though people often associate loons more with Canada or Maine, or even like I think Michigan. Like there's a lot of other states that have a large loon presence. There are a lot of loons in the state of New Hampshire. And the reason that it was more specifically resonant to me is because for almost all my life, all the time I was in New Hampshire, I was a big member of the New Hampshire Audubon Society, which is separate from the National Audubon Society. But they had a summer camp that I went to from the ages of 5 until I was too old at 12. And then at 13, I became a counselor in training. I was a counselor in training for the ages of 13 and 14. And then I became a full-on counselor at 15. I was a counselor from 15 to 20. And then when I was 21, 22, I was a associate director of the summer camp. During the school year, when summer was not doing its thing, I did the winter solstice camp. They always had a winter solstice camp. And I also volunteered to do animal care. So the specific center, the Massabesic Audubon Center that I worked at was in Auburn, New Hampshire. And it just was really meaningful for me for a lot of reasons. One, I think, well, I don't know. It was just like a great way to connect with nature. The thing about the summer camp was that it was really low on competition and high on learning. And as like a little nerdy kid who didn't want to go to sports camps and didn't want to go to competitive camps, like it's just really like fed my soul. There was like a lot of like-minded people that just loved animals and wanted to spend all day outside. And as a kid, that's all I wanted. And so for me, it was like literally a safe space, a happy space. When I was really young, my mom put me in a bunch of different camps that like all my other friends were in. And I just didn't like them for a myriad of reasons, mostly because I don't like to play sports. I don't like to be in competition-based things. And I don't know, there was always just something really soothing and wonderful about the Audubon, even though my friends in my neighborhood and my school friends did not go to this camp. But because I was so addicted to going there, I would go there like 6 to 8 weeks a year. I formed my own really special group of friends at the Audubon. And I would say out of everybody that I stay in contact with in New Hampshire, the most people that I'm in contact with are from the Audubon, like not from elementary, middle, high school, not from my neighborhood. Like I came in contact with 1 or 2 people here or there, but most people that I still talk to are from the Audubon. A couple of us have loons tattooed on us because loons were the part of the logo of the New Hampshire Audubon Society. So anyway, that's where that comes from. It's very important to me. And so it represents my time that I lived in New Hampshire, but it also represents like the Audubon and everything that means to me. The next tattoo I got the tattoo bug, right? And I got my next tattoo like 3 weeks later. I wasn't planning on it, but I just was like, you know what? I fucking love this tattoo. Like I always knew I was gonna get it. I always knew where I was gonna get it. Like I thought about it for years and years and years. And then the next one I got 3 weeks later without thinking about it at all. And that is, and I really have to remember like which ear is which ear has which one. That is the one behind this ear. It's, 10 years old. These 2 tattoos are both 10 years old, but I have a little alligator behind my ear. I ended up staying in New Orleans after I graduated college, but I still was like, you know what? I have my New Hampshire tattoo. Let me get my New Orleans tattoo. And I just went in and got a gator. I got a gator behind my ear, and I love her. I feel like the gator is actually so sick. It's a great placement. Still went back to the same artist, the same tattoo shop. Taylor's Cross doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, these are 2 of my favorite tattoos of all time, and I got them back to back in 2015. Okay. In 2016, I decided the next tattoo I was going to get was going to be for my dad. So this is a little meandering, but well, first let me show you. So it's the tattoo that's on the back of my neck. You've probably seen here and there. Again, this one is now 9 years old, right? Hopefully you can see that because I can't really tell, but I assume you can see that. It says love, love. So my dad's alive. My dad's 100% alive. People often think he's dead when they hear I got a tattoo for him. My dad is a really important person in my life. Oh my God, I know he's gonna watch this, so it's like I don't even want to get sappy about it because he's gonna call me. My dad is like 100% my best friend, besides Mario. Mario's my best friend, but besides Mario. I don't know, we weren't like, I would say particularly close when I was a child, but I've always been like a daddy's girl. I'm an only child, right? So I've never had to compete for attention with my parents. But I've definitely always had like a strong bond with my dad. That bond became much stronger when I was in college. Many of you probably know. I was deeply anorexic. I was struggling really hard with an eating disorder. That was very difficult. And when I was finally ready to recover, my dad was there for me in a way that I really didn't expect because we were always close, but we didn't really have like this like super strong bond, I would say for me, until like there was just overwhelming emotional support throughout my recovery journey from my dad. Like, did he understand what was happening or what was going on? Not at all. But he knew that I was struggling and that I needed help. And he was down to be on the phone with me for hours and hours and hours every day as I just like cried and struggled and suffered. And, you know, he would fly down to be with me. And so I went through a breakup when I was in college, a really bad breakup with my boyfriend. We were together for like 2.5 years. He broke up with me. He cheated on me and broke up with me like during Mardi Gras, my senior year. My dad flew down the next weekend and just like distracted me. And we just like, it was like all the way around that time too that I was like really seriously recovering from my eating disorder. And a lot of that like swirled and just like made, I would say, the bond between my dad and I like unbreakable, and like cemented the fact that like my dad's my best friend. And something that my dad and I have always said to each other is love, love. I don't even remember where it came from. Like, I don't know if I was just like a little kid and didn't say I love you all the way, but like since I was a very little girl, my dad and I would end every conversation with love, love. Like love, 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 love. And so yeah, and so I got this tattoo, and 2 years after I got this tattoo, my dad got diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer that he is now in remission from, miraculously, and it's amazing. But I went through a little over a year-long stint where we didn't know if that was going to happen or if it was just going to progress and get worse. And he ended up doing an experimental medical trial. This is not relevant necessarily, but my point is that like as that was happening and I was sort of faced for the first time in my life with my parents' mortality and the fact that I am an only child and I will be alone when that happens, like it was very emotionally challenging for me because I love my dad and I wasn't ready to face that. But something that kind of kept me going, not like this tattoo kept me going. It was a tough time, but I feel like I knew that my dad knew that I loved him. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where I'm so glad I was able to get this tattoo in honor of him, even though he is 100% well and alive now, because like it's important to tell the people in your life that you love them when they're still around to hear it and understand it and appreciate it. And my dad means a lot to me. I've already went on too long. This is really gonna go to his head. Okay. So that's the third tattoo I got. He was originally thinking of getting one for me, but I think my mom would actually kill him if he got a tattoo. So yeah, then I'm trying to think what came next. Okay. Then came this tattoo. You guys see this? This little stick and poke H. All right, so this is a tattoo I got with one of my exes, not the ex from that story I just told, different one. I was dating this girl. We were in this kind of like large group of queer friends, and it was Decadence, which if you guys don't know what that is, that's like a New Orleans Pride event that takes place in September. We were going to a Decadence event and we all got a little drunk the night before, and we thought it would be really funny, like a big queer group of us, if four of us decided to get the letters HOMO, I have a picture of that somewhere, stick and poke tattooed on us, thinking, well, it'll go away because we're just doing little light stick and pokes in literally like a friend of ours' living room. Well, here we are. That was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Actually may have gotten this before I got this, if I'm thinking about it. And it's still here. But you know what? I got no regrets about it, because what a time in my life. And frankly, I'm glad I have a weird little keepsake on my finger to remember it by. Okay, the next tattoo that I got would be my back tattoo. So I have something for New Hampshire. I have something for New Orleans. Then we moved to Los Angeles in 2016. And I wanted to get a tattoo to commemorate being in California. But I kind of merged it into a couple different things. So I'm a Gemini. I like being a Gemini. California state flowers are poppies. So I decided, and I think it's on this side. Yeah, there it is. So I decided to get, there she is, the Gemini constellation tattooed on my body, but instead of stars, they're poppy flowers, as a reference to California. And I also think just like constellation astrology thing is kind of like a funny nod to LA. Definitely something that I learned a lot more about after moving to Los Angeles. So that's my little ode to Gemini and California, and I also just think it's beautiful. It's 100% my favorite tattoo. I got that done at a studio that also doesn't exist anymore. But I will try and tag the artist in the description below, so someone remind me if I forget to do that, because she's still working. I just don't know. She's working in a different studio. She does gorgeous floral stuff, and I was very happy to get that tattoo from her. That was done in I gotta look on my Instagram. I'm gonna lie to you guys about what year that was done if I don't look it up. I post so much shit on my Instagram. It's gonna take me forever. Hold on. 2019. So that tattoo is 6 years old. Okay. And the next, oh, you know what? I think I maybe skipped one. Did I skip one? No. I didn't. Okay, yeah. So that was in 2019. Later that year in 2019, I got this little heart, which is just like a little red heart. Really needs to be touched up, like desperately needs to be touched up. But you know, finger tattoos fade really fast, if you guys don't know that, especially like interior finger tattoos, because you use your hands a lot. So yeah, I got this with my one of my childhood best friends. We were in New Orleans together, actually. One of my childhood best friends from New Hampshire, but I had my 26th birthday, so 2019, in New Orleans. Like, I had a big group fly in and we all hung out. And while we were there, we decided to get these matching tattoos. So she has one and I have one. And then the next tattoo I got, I think, was the cats. I think the cats is the next tattoo I got. So in 2020, March of 2020, I'm dead serious about this, I got Beethoven and Tuna tattooed on the back of this arm. So Beethoven and Tuna, these are pretty like hyper realistic pet portraits. At the time I was living in Highland Park across from a tattoo shop that also no longer exists. And there was a guest artist in residence at the shop, and I love tattoos, so I was following the shop just by virtue of living across the street. I also followed them on Instagram. They posted they had this guest artist in, and that her specialty was pet portraits, like hyper realistic pet portraits, and she was, you know, in town from Korea. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a cool idea. So I like messaged her. She had an opening one day. I like went in. This was 100% done on a whim, not a total whim. I wanted to get a tattoo for the cats. The cats are hugely important to me. I don't even think I need to explain why my cats are important to me, but I'm an animal lover, a pet lover. My first children, and of course I've had pets my whole life, but these are the first pets that I ever had as an adult that are mine. And both of them are massively emotionally important to me. So on a whim, I went and got this done. Less than a week after I got these done, COVID shut the world down. And that artist went back to Korea. So she was like, oh, you know, these realistic portraits sometimes need touch-ups, so just come back in like a month. That was no longer gonna be an option. Not only was the world shut down and the shop closed, she was back in Korea. Fortunately, they've actually never had a touch-up. They're 5 years old now. I think they still look pretty good. Tattoos like that, of course, don't always age super well, but I have high faith in these. And I think they still look really, really good. And a fun added bonus of this tattoo that I didn't even consider, but that I love, is that they're August's favorite tattoos. And like, I'll just be sitting there and he'll come up and he'll start poking them and petting them and meowing at them. And like, that's worth their weight in gold. So those are my cat tattoos. Okay, so the next tattoo I got, must be behind this ear. Alligators behind the other one. I think you can see those. I got the stars from the Harry Potter books. Okay, if you're not a Harry Potter fan, then I guess I should explain at the corner of every print copy of Harry Potter are these 3 stars. My relationship with Harry Potter is obviously fraught now, which is unfortunate. J.K. Rowling is a bigot. She's a hateful individual. I am beyond disappointed in the hatred and vitriolic evil and bigotry that she spews on a daily basis for fun, and I'm like, go take your billions and shut the fuck up. But unfortunately, she has made it everybody's problem that she is a transphobic loser. And it is complicated because before we knew that about her, Harry Potter I was one of those people who you're like, get a personality that's outside of Harry Potter. And I'm like, no, that was who I was before we found out she was a bad person. Like, Harry Potter was a large part of my identity. Weirdly, like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I just did that vlog like 2 days ago or yesterday. I just did a vlog yesterday where like I was nerding out about stuff. Well, a huge part of that for me when I was a teenager was Harry Potter. I went to all the midnight drops of the books. You know, Harry Potter was like my age growing up, and they were some of the first like things that got me really into reading. I've always been a voracious reader, but like definitely when I was a kid, like Harry Potter books, you know, were what books that I used to reread them every single year. I still have my copies of books that I had when I was a kid that I got at those midnight premieres. My parents flew me to Florida when the fucking Universal like park opened for the very first time. For my birthday, they flew me there just so I can go to the parks. Like, I went to all the midnight premieres of the movies. The movies suck, but that's neither here nor there. I used to dress up as Hermione and go to school. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was very into Harry Potter. It was very formative for me, as I feel sadly like it was for a lot of queer outcast kids like myself, you know? And I think like it just fucking sucks that like all of that shit is tainted now, because it was important to a lot of us, including myself. Anyway, that's why I have that tattoo. Harry Potter was important to me for a large part of my life. Very formative in who I am. Because of it, I made a lot of friends that I still have to this day. And though we try not to give any money to J.K. Rowling now, it is what it is. Okay. Obviously, I hope to be an ally to trans people around the world. You know what's crazy too is that like I have a good friend who's trans who is covered in Harry Potter tattoos. Like they're one of the friends I actually became close to because of Harry Potter. And like they have a huge Harry Potter back piece and a huge Harry Potter sleeve. And it just sucks. It just sucks. Like it just sucks. The next tattoo I believe I got was 5x5, which I did briefly explain in my Q&A video where you guys had requested this tattoo tour. So 5x5 I got in New Orleans. I actually forget what shop I got it at. We went into like a random tattoo shop, my friend and I. We were there. I was there visiting her for the weekend. She was just graduating law school at the time. And we wanted like a tattoo together. We wanted to get a tattoo together. It was one of those things where she was like, I want to get a tattoo. Do you want to get a tattoo? And I was like, I'm down. And we were like sitting in the shop like, what should we get? And we got different things, but they're related, which I think is kind of nice because we're definitely very different people, but we love each other very much. And so I got 5x5 and she got Slay, both references to the show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is one of our favorite shows. We have a lot of shit like that in common. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is without a doubt my favorite show of all time. My favorite television show of all time. So for me, like this is a no-brainer. I love this. 5x5 is a phrase said by one of my favorite characters, Faith. I also kind of love that this tattoo is sort of, and this wasn't necessarily intentional at the time, but it's something I think about a lot. It's done up in a font that looks very similar to my Ladle by Ladle logo font back when this channel was Ladle by Ladle. And it's 5x5, Ladle by Ladle. And so I just kind of always like that. I feel like it's like a little secret accidental thing that happened. But this is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer tattoo. It's a friendship tattoo that I got with Melanie, my friend Melanie. And I think, get any more tattoos between that and the lightsaber? No. I think then the next tattoo would be this tattoo, which I got just last year during Vlogmas. Regular Vlogmas, not Vlogmas in July. I got the regular Vlogmas right before Christmas. I went and got this. This is my newest tattoo. I've been obsessed with the idea of doing a black and red tattoo for a long time. I fucking love red ink. I think it's so sexy. The red is fading. I am considering getting it touched up, but this artist, Carla Montana, I will link her below. Her shop is not too far away from me, and this work on this lightsaber is so fucking good. Like the shading and the line work. It's hard to do lines like, and she's a relatively new-ish tattoo artist, and like one of the reasons that I loved her, a couple of reasons. One, you know, I was talking to her on Instagram. One, she does mostly nerdy stuff. Okay, so we'll get to the meaning behind this in a second. Two, her lines are clean as fuck. She does like all these swords and stuff, and I could just tell like she's got the steadiest hand. And for something that is basically all straight lines, which is hard to do on human skin in a tattoo gun, I knew she was gonna nail it, and she did. Okay, let's talk about it. I love Star Wars. That's it. I fucking love Star Wars. Just like Harry Potter, Star Wars is extremely formative to my personality. You know, that being said, I'm also like being a girly girl, and I'm like butterflies. I've wanted to get butterflies incorporated in a tattoo for a while. I just love the aesthetic. I had a butterfly room growing up. And so I thought it would be kind of a cute idea. I had this idea years and years and years ago, like before I ever even had August, like that I wanted to have a lightsaber with, instead of a saber coming out of it, like a red saber, I wanted to have red butterflies and sparkles shooting out of it because I'm a girly little Star Wars fan. And that's what that means. And that's why I love it. And I believe those are all my tattoos. Mental scan of my body. Yep. Let me change the battery real quick. This is about to die. Okay, so the last thing I'll say about this is that I want to tell you guys about my like kind of philosophy around my tattoos, why I have them, and what I think about when I get tattoos and stuff like that. So I don't really feel like my body or skin is precious. Like I'm not like, I don't want to like have an ugly tattoo for no reason, but I'm not like precious about my skin and like, I'm like, oh my God, it's marred forever and I hate it. Like I'm personally not too worried about that. Secondly, it's like this, like this is how I explained it to Mario the other day, right? Because like he doesn't want tattoos and I totally respect that. I don't think anybody needs to get them. I think it's a very, very personal and specific like interest of mine, right? Some people are into them and some people aren't, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like Mario, you know, Mario and I are thinking about getting a tattoo on our 10-year wedding anniversary. Not thinking about it, we're gonna do it. And he's cool with that because he feels like 10 years married is like 17 years together, and it's like at that point we're in it. I would have gotten one with him a month after we started dating. And here's why. Even if Mario and I divorce tomorrow, right? Which would not happen. Never happen. I can't even picture a world where that would happen. But let's say Mario and I get a tattoo together and things don't work out. I would not have a single fucking regret about that tattoo, because whether we are endgame or not, which I believe we are, Mario is an extremely important part of my life. For better or for worse, for the rest of my life, not only was he the father of my child, but personally, I think the love of my life. And so having a tattoo on me that reminds me of him or reminds me of that era of my life will never be a regret for me. It's just like a part of the canvas of who I am. I love my dad. I love Star Wars. I loved Harry Potter. I lived in New Orleans. I lived in New Hampshire. The Audubon was important to me. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm a Gemini. I lived in California. All of the tattoos that I have, from the silly and non-meaningful, you know, to the more meaningful, they all meant something to me. They all say something about who I am. They all convey a message that I am happy with. They all tell a story of a moment in my life. Like, maybe when I'm 55, I don't like Star Wars anymore. But I loved Star Wars for a moment that was so powerful that I was willing to get it inked on my skin forever. And that means something, because even if I'm a different person at 50 than I was at 30, that person that I was at 30 is still me. You know what I mean? The things that I'm interested in now aren't, for me, like, I have no regrets in getting tattoos about the things that I'm interested in now, because even if those interests mutate and change over the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, that doesn't erase who I was in my past. And if anything, I love having these markings on my skin that remind me of things that were important to me, and things that I thought were beautiful, or things that I thought were interesting, or things that I thought were silly. So for me, that's what tattoos are about. They're about putting something permanent on your body to remind you of who you were and who you are, even if those things change. And I also feel like none of it has to be that serious, because it's not like I get a tattoo for every important relationship or every important milestone. It's like, wow, I really liked Buffy the Vampire Slayer and I'm great friends with Melanie. I'm amazing friends with Sarah. Like, Sarah will always be important to me. The Audubon will always be important to me. My dad will always be important to me. You know, even if any of these things changed, all of those things were true in those moments. You know what I mean? The cats will always be important to me. And my mom was like, they're gonna die and you're gonna get more cats. And it's like, first of all, Mom, don't fucking tell me that they're gonna die. I can't handle it. I'm not emotionally prepared for that. But second of all, even when the day that does happens, it won't take away the fact that both of my cats had a massive impact on me. So when I think about future tattoos that I want to get, which I mentioned in my Q&A, right now I'm just thinking about things that are really, really important to me in this moment right now that I wouldn't mind remembering forever. Of course, I'm gonna get a tattoo for my son. He'll be important to me for the rest of my life. I would love to get tattoos for Mario and my relationship, even without him. Like, I've been considering getting some. I have more TV shows. I want to get a Disney tattoo. Like, I want to get tattoos of things that are just really important to me now. But I'm also, like I said in the beginning, I'm not in a rush to get any of these tattoos, because all of the tattoos that I've gotten have just kind of happened at the right moment, in the right time. The right artist was in the right place, and like, I was just feeling in the right kind of way. And like, I'll just know when the next time I'm ready to get a tattoo happens. I'll just know. I also don't generally get tattoos done in the summer, just because I like to keep, you know, for the healing process. I don't ever want to be like in a situation where I like can't go to the beach or I can't go to the pool or whatever, which in general is like not conducive to good tattoo healing. So generally I get tattoos in the fall and winter / spring anyway. But yeah, those are my tattoos, and sort of a little bit about my tattoo philosophy, whether you agree with it or not. That's sort of my vibe. That's my my thinking about it. I love tattoos. I'm 100% gonna get more. Probably I'll have like another 3 or 4 in the next 3 or 4 years. For a while there, I was on like a 1 tattoo a year trajectory. I think somewhere along the way that slipped, but yeah. So those are all my tattoos, what they mean to me, and I hope you like this, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you on the morrow. Sorry. Bye.